welcome back to the channel. So in the last video, last lap of the drift event at AMP, we went off track, kind of messed up the body kit a bit. All things considered, it's not too bad. The worst of the damage being the front bumper corner. It's just missing. But my buddy Diego, he does paint and body work. He's the one that painted this car, and I'm gonna go ahead and take off the front and rear bumper and drop them off at his place to get them repaired and resprayed, because I want this thing looking good for Polecat, which is coming up in a couple months. So yeah, while it's apart, I'm gonna talk to you about my experience boosting the Z and why I think you should do it. So, you want to turbo your VQ? I think you should, but don't be surprised when a bunch of people say you shouldn't. A lot of people, I would argue most people, will tell you that it's not worth it. For good reason. They'll say that it's just not worth the money because you will have to put a good bit of money and effort into boosting one of these things. But I think it's worth it. Now, sure, you could get more value out of maybe building another platform or even an engine swap when you just look at horsepower per dollar, but that's not why I did it. I did it because I think it's really fucking cool. I think it's unique, especially in the drift scene. You don't really see it that often. If anything, I would say what you tend to see more of as far as boosted builds go, especially on these DEs, I have a VQ35 DE, is superchargers or prochargers, or like the Vortec kits, and those are cool too. And this, what I'm gonna say in this video, applies to both, just forced induction in general. As far as turbos go, especially like one of these top mount turbos, you just don't really see it very often. Now when I say you can get more value out of something else, it's because as far as these DEs go, it's kind of common knowledge or well known that you're limited by the rods. The rods are the weak link, and they tend to bend around 400 wheel torque is where you start to push the limits. At least that's kind of the common consensus among the community. And it's really the torque that'll kill these. I've seen a lot of builds on these DEs that go to 500 wheel horsepower. And if they can manage the torque down low, keep it from hitting too hard and too much down low, then they can get these to live there. But in general, I think torque is what kills these, and you start to really push the limit around that 400 wheel torque number. I don't know what this thing makes. I didn't dyno it. I actually have just been street tuning this with uprev, no dyno. I've never tuned before. I learned how to tune on this, on E85 and turbo, and it was hard, but it was a really great learning experience. And then if you have an HR, from what I've researched, I believe you could push it a little more. I think an HR can get you closer to maybe that 500 mark, a little safer. I think they can handle it. They're a little stronger internally, and so you might be able to push those a little harder. And the Ds get a bad rep, especially with boost. I mean, if you go on any forum from back in the day, most of the people will say you're an idiot if you are asking, hey, should I boost my DE? They'll just call you a bunch of unpleasant things, and yeah, they don't really, like, I get it. It's because you do have to spend a lot of money and effort from NA, probably 100, 150 horsepower gain, which to a lot of people is like, why would you do that? It's a waste of money. Why don't you just get a different platform? Which is fair, but it's also kind of lame. And I think this is really cool. So my setup is a Momentum turbo kit modified to be open wastegate. So I modified the wastegate to just dump straight at the ground instead of recirculate back into the downpipe. And it's a top mount. Let me show you. So there it is. Top mount turbo right there, Garrett GT35R, ball bearing turbo from back in the day. Now, Momentum as a company went under in about 2012, but they had a very well respected turbo kit for the DE, one of the few. Nowadays, similar kits you can buy on like eBay and stuff. There's Turbonetics, there's Rev9, which is I think just a rep of Turbonetics, but I could be wrong there. And they're going to give you the same placement where it's top mount, where the intake is on an NA vehicle. And with this, things are very crammed. Obviously, it's already crammed with the VQ, and then you add a turbo in the mix. Yeah, you get the idea. So it's not easy, but I think those Turbonetics or Rev9 kits only run a couple grand on eBay, something like that. And then you have to figure out fueling and a tune, but it should bolt up. I have heard people do have to modify them sometimes, and it's not going to flow as well as like something like this. This Momentum kit has bigger piping, better flowing piping, and uses V-bands instead of the typical 4-bolt T3, T4 flanges. But regardless, those are kind of the options for top mount. But anyway, going back to my setup, modified Momentum Performance Turbo Kit, Garrett GT35R. I've got a fuel pressure regulator from Z1, 1000cc injectors also from Z1, and a Dishworks 300 fuel pump. And I run E85 and a 7 psi wastegate spring. I think a lot of these kits and a lot of people will run 10 psi as kind of that sweet spot to get you to 400 horsepower. I didn't want that. I drift this car, I beat the hell out of it, so I wanted to be a little bit on the safer side, hence the E85 and hence the 7 psi spring. I think I could push it a little more, but I also tuned this thing. I don't trust myself that much. I'd rather not just push the limits for an extra 30, 40 horsepower. I'd rather, you know, keep it well under the threshold that people say is typically limiting these things, and that way I can just beat on it and not worry about it as much. Obviously, it's still a lot of added heat and stress, and so it is going to wear things a lot quicker than NA. And you're going to break more stuff. I'm breaking more axles, all that, because I'm adding thicker tires, because I can spin them easier with all this new power, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, not sure exactly how much power I make, but if I had to guess, it'd be around 350 to 380, 400, somewhere around there. All I care about is if it's enough for any track I want to be able to bang third gear and it drifts it no problem. Just recently I was at Atlanta Motorsports Park in the last video where I got all this damage to this body kit done, and I was able to run third gear. It's a really fast road course, lots of elevation change, and it ran third gear no problem. Even fourth it can do, which is all I really cared about. And I think it sounds pretty rowdy if I do say so myself. Now I will say, I think there's a better sounding option to go turbo on these cars. And that, I think, is it's like bottom mount or mid mount, but I know Boosted Performance sells a kit like that where they mount the turbo right by the transmission, and it's equal length piping to the turbo, which creates this really cool sound. It's like that sound you get from like Fresh Kicks, iconic Nismo, and then actual DE guys running that I think are like Natish. And Manny VQ, I think. Those are some guys that I took inspiration from. Obviously way different turbo setup, but still boosted nonetheless. I think that sound is really hard to beat as far as a boosted VQ goes. I think those sound incredible. But I think those Boosted Performance kits are a little more expensive / harder to get. Not really sure on that, don't quote me, but I got a great deal on this marketplace kit for this Momentum Performance kit, and I went with that. And I've had no regrets. The open wastegate makes it sound really rowdy. Again, one more time, just quick overview. Momentum Performance top mount, single turbo kit, 7 psi spring on E85 with 1000cc injectors, fuel return, fuel pressure regulator for that fuel return, booster reference, and Dishworks 300 fuel pump. And that is great for me to run 7 psi on E85, up rev tuned it myself, and it rips. And yeah, I would say all that all together for me probably cost maybe 5K if I had to guess. There's a lot of miscellaneous stuff I did as well, and some fabrication. And to a lot of people that's stupid to gain 150 horsepower doing that, but for me it wasn't just that. It was the extra horsepower, so I can run any track I want, almost pretty much any track I want now, especially the faster road courses that I've always wanted to be able to do. Whereas before, if I wanted to do those NA, you know, I'd have to air up the 245s to like probably 70 psi to link the track. But it's also the sound and the uniqueness. Every event I get people coming up to me and being like, what the hell is in this thing? I've never heard something like this before. And that makes it worth it to me. I think that's super dope because you just don't see it very often, especially drifting. So that made it worth it to me. Side note, absolutely wrecked my kit. Fresh out of paint, kinda, but looks like I took a bite out of it. God damn. Anyway, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Moral of the story is, don't be a pussy and boost your VQ. But no, obviously you're going to want to have the supporting mods as well. You're going to want to have better cooling. I've got Koyo radiator with dual brushless fans that push a lot of CFM, oil cooler as well. Then I have the Z1 baffled oil pan, which gives me a lot more capacity, better cooling, because like I said, a lot more stress on the engine, on the components, a lot more heat. So you want to keep that in check best you can. But I mean, with all that in mind, honestly, this thing has handled boost really well. I've beat on it a lot. Like I mentioned, I tuned it myself and I learned how to tune on this setup, which means a lot of trial and error. So tuning, you got to do pools to get data to tune. I've done so many street pools on this thing, just tuning it day after day after day, trying to perfect it, trying to get better, because I'm learning as I go. It just takes it like a tank. And yeah, it's only 7 psi, but it's a fun 7 psi. And I think these NAT type setups are some of my favorite. Like low psi, comes NA from the factory, so it's a little higher compression than typical turbo engines from the factory. And then you add a little bit of boost to it, and it really wakes it up because it still has that down low torque that it had from the factory from being NA with a little bit higher compression. And then the boost obviously just takes it to a whole nother level. So yeah, if you're on the edge, you're not sure whether you want to pull the trigger and boost your VQ, I say do it. I think it's cool. A lot of people are going to say you're stupid, but it's just another reason to do it. If you're interested in the details of my build specifically, then I have a whole playlist of me building this thing. I went over everything in there: fuel system, actual kit itself, fabrication, custom exhaust, all the custom stuff we had to make work, everything. I have the whole build on my channel, so you can check it out. And I even go over the tuning process, so you could learn a little bit about that as well, because I learned on camera, so you can kind of see what I did, any mistakes I made, all that. But I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can too. If I can learn how to tune on a boosted VQ with E85, there's no reason you can't either. I just bought a course from Evans Performance Academy, which is a good tuning course, and they specifically have videos on like VQs that helped a lot, and uprev. And if you just take a little bit of time and learn, you can learn so much and do so much more than you think you can. So I highly recommend that. Now, whether this thing will last, I'm not sure. But at this point right now, this stock, unopened, 150,000 mile VQ DE owes me nothing. It's been abused so much, especially with boost now. I mean, you can just see the drift event videos I've done since boosting it, and it's been great. I've had some issues with like oiling and stuff, I think from the turbo seals, but that's not to fault the engine itself. And I did mention that you're gonna have more wear and tear on the car as a whole, and that is true. But at the same time, if you're just going for what I'm doing, which is a stock block, especially on the DE, and you don't want to push it much past like 400, 380 power maybe, these things can take it really well as far as the rest of the components of these cars. I mean, you have the CD trans, which is known to be super, super bulletproof, and that's why people use them in swaps all the time. You've got 350Z axles are pretty damn good for what they are. The diffs don't really break that much. I mean, when you compare it to some other chassis, like a stock S chassis or even like E36 chassis and stuff, they've got all kinds of other like drivetrain or chassis issues. Like you need to reinforce a subframe on BMW, stuff like that. These things, if you just want to boost one and it's already set up to drift, the stock axles can probably take it. The stock trans can definitely take it. The stock drive shaft can definitely take it. So you don't have to change that much to support the added power. So that's pretty cool. Now I have broken axles since boosting it, but that's because I'm running really a lot bigger tire and being stupid. So I might personally upgrade to 370Z axles and wheel hubs, because that's an upgrade you can do and they're a lot stronger. But aside from that, I mean, these things are pretty solid as is. All right, we got both bumpers off. Now I just got to go drop them off at Diego to get repaired and resprayed. It should be good. I think we might hit Driven Luck in the next month with some homies. I think there'll be a cool event being thrown there. And then Polecat is also coming up. Exciting stuff coming up. So I hope you enjoyed me rambling a bit about just boosting a VQ. Maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe I am lucky with this block and other people have a ton of issues at the same power level. I don't think so. I think if you do it right, these things are pretty stout. Just make sure you're not oil starving, doing maintenance, all that basic stuff, and these things can handle a lot. And if you have any questions for my build specifically, or just anything I went through in my experience boosting a VQ, especially a DE, just ask in the comments. I'll respond to all the comments and everything. I love hearing feedback from you guys or questions from you guys. I'll respond to everything. So if you are curious about anything about my build, just let me know. The no bumper look is always kind of cool on this thing, but must fix bumper. Can't be running no body kit forever. I did that for way too long already. And yeah, let me know if you have any specific content you guys want to see. You know, this channel kind of was centered around building this thing for a while, and now, I mean, it's not done, it's never done, but it's working and it's kitted up and painted and everything. So as far as building this car goes, there's not really much content left for that. It's really just fixing it and prepping for events for the most part. So I've got a few video ideas to make, kind of like this, where it's not just about repairing the car or prepping for an event, but like actual topics of the video. But if you guys want to see more driving clips, tuning, stuff like that, just let me know, because I'm open to hear what you guys want to see more. Also, let me know if you agree with me or if you think I'm stupid and this is a cold take. But right now, like I mentioned, still having some oiling issues. The oil's getting into the intake intercooler piping and messing up the MAF readings. So I either got to make my oil return from the turbo higher up in the oil pan and drill and tap into the upper oil pan, because right now I have it just into the lower Z1 pan, or got to replace my turbo seals. But for now, let's just assess the damage from the last event, see how much oil got up in here, because I've kind of been avoiding the problem. And I got lucky, and luckily it didn't give me issues at the actual event. But I do need to address it, because I'm just asking for trouble the longer I drive it with this problem unaddressed. I know I've been super inconsistent with uploading on this channel, especially lately, but I'm trying to get better at that. I'm going to try to get more consistent with these uploads, because I do really want to grow this channel. I really enjoy making these videos. I really enjoy getting feedback. I think it can keep growing if I just stay consistent and keep leveling up my content as well, because I definitely have a lot of room to grow there, that's for sure. What's the damage? Oh baby, yeah, we still got an issue. I may have to rebuild this turbo after all. Not exactly what I wanted to see. Oh goodness, yeah, that's a lot of oil. Let me see if I can show you. Look all the way down there. You can't see it, but you can see even in the coupler all the oil dripping, and there's a pool of oil if you look far enough down there, but you can't see it with the camera. Take my word for it. So that then travels along this intercooler piping, gets all over the MAF, and then goes in the engine. And the MAF is not meant to get oil all over it, so it reads all wonky and eventually destroys the MAF. And that's what led to my issues as of late, and replacing the MAF temporarily fixed it. Obviously, got to fix the oiling problem. So I know I still have my oiling issue, which means the MAF is still covered in it, and I don't want to keep losing MAFs because they're not cheap. So I'm going to take this one out, clean it off, which I should have done right after the event when I suspected I still have an oiling issue, because probably isn't good for it to just sit in oil for like weeks. But you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. At least I'll do it now, and hopefully this MAF isn't trashed and I can save it. The amount of times I've cleaned a MAF over the past month is crazy. Holy cow. Just pools of oil on this. Look at that. Oil right there. I'm sure there's a bunch of oil inside. Oh yeah, not ideal. I'm gonna spray her off. Oh. Got it on the truck. Okay, hopefully that's good. Do not want to buy another one. But that was pretty much my goal today. Just take off the body kit, get it ready to send off to Diego so he can fix it on up for me, and then take a gander and see if I still have the same oiling issue. And yeah, I definitely do. We'll need to address that before the next event. So it means more content for you guys, I guess, but more work for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.